My husband has refused to sleep with me because he is a virgin. Before I got married to my husband, I had always wondered what kind of man he would be, if he's going to be rich or poor. One faithful day, I was strolling to go get some groceries from the supermarket. Then a very beautiful Mercedes-Benz drove towards my direction and got me hit. The car immediately pulled over. I stood up and rushed to the car and screamed, "Who is that idiot in the car? Do you want to break my legs? Are you okay? I say come out now." I started knocking on the car glass, but the person inside refused to come down, and I couldn't see anyone inside because the car glass was tinted. I kept knocking, but no response. I used my legs in anger to hit the car, and I left. I was done getting my pieces of stuff from the supermarket, and as I was heading to the cashier, a young, tall, cute man walked in. When I saw him, I paused for a bit. I couldn't stop staring at him. He walked straight to the cashier, and as I was about to pay for my groceries, he offered to pay for them. "How much is it?" he asked. "A total of 42,000 naira, the cashier said. I was so happy. I thanked him and left. I was shocked he didn't even ask for my name or my phone number. I mean, this has never happened before. Men will always want your number after they cleared your bills," I said to myself. When I got home, I told my mum about the man who paid for my groceries, and guess what my mum said? She said he was going to be my husband and that was how she met my late father. I laughed and said to her, "Mummy, he didn't even ask for my name or my number. How is he now going to be my husband?" She said, "Wait and see." We both laughed over it. A few days have passed, and I always catch myself carried away by his thoughts. A man I haven't seen before. I have met him just once. Why can't I stop thinking about him? I asked myself. So, every day I would walk to the supermarket not because I wanted to buy anything but because I was hoping to see him. I kept going to the supermarket every day but to no avail. The cashier even got tired of me and said to me, "You have been coming here every day for the past 2 weeks now and never for one day have you gotten anything." She chased me out. On my way out, a very beautiful Mercedes-Benz, just like the one that almost hit me down the other day, drove to the supermarket. I was able to remember the plate number and it was the same. The person inside was about to come down, so I rushed to the car with anger. I screamed, "So you're the lunatic that almost got me hit the other day, right?" As he raised his head, I was shocked because it was the same person that paid for my groceries. "Young lady, what are you talking about? This is my car, but I can't remember ever trying to get anyone hit." "It was you. You almost got me hit." "Oh, that was why you paid for my groceries the other day, right? So you could cover up for your evil deeds." "Young lady, I still don't know what you're talking about. Please, if you may excuse me." He walked out on me. I started shouting, "God will punish you, wicked man," so I left. On my way, I was talking to myself, "God forbid. I can never marry this kind of person. So, this is the person I have been having sleepless nights for. Rubbish. If not that he has a fine face, I would have designed his face." Immediately, he drove towards my direction and asked if I needed a ride. I couldn't say no because the sun was too harsh, and my house was a bit far. "I'm so sorry, but it wasn't me that almost got you hit the other day. Maybe it's my brother or my friend and they've both gone back to the States. I'm so sorry about that." When we got to my house gate, he asked for my name and my phone number. "My name is Hillary," he said. I came down and he drove off. A few days later, I waited for his call, but he never called. So, I decided to chat with him on WhatsApp, but he didn't reply. Hillary and his parents were having a meeting, and they gave him 2 weeks to get a wife for himself to marry because he was almost 40. "Or we will get a girl for you to marry," his mother said. A few weeks later, my phone beeped, and it was a message from Hillary saying, "Let's get married." I was shocked and didn't know what to say. He invited me for dinner. We got to know ourselves and all. I got to know his house. He introduced me to his parents, and I introduced him to mine. We dated for a month, and ever since I have been going to visit Hillary. He has never touched me, not to talk of kissing or having sex. So, one faithful day, I went to his house and I started touching him, and then we started kissing, and it was so intense. As I was about to take off his clothes, he held my hands and I whispered into his ear, "Baby, let's go to the room and make love." He pushed me and shouted, "No, we can't have sex now until after our wedding night." I was shocked but also happy at the same time, because he is decent and God-fearing. I mean, which man wouldn't want free sex? A few days before our wedding, I went for my wedding dress fittings with my best friend Amaka, who is going to be my chief bridesmaid. The deal day came. We got wedded and the party was dismissed. Everyone went to their houses and we went back to our hotel room. I took a hot shower and went straight to my husband. I started kissing him and he pushed me and said, "I am very tired from the wedding stress, and it will be nice if we do it in our matrimonial home." I was shocked because we are married, and we can still make love in a hotel too. But I understood he might be tired from the wedding, so I let it be. We both slept off. We woke up the next morning and drove straight to our home. As soon as we got home, I came down from the car, and he said to me, "I'm sorry, I need to go to the office. I have some work I need to finish up." I was confused because this was supposed to be our honeymoon, but he drove off and left me standing. When he returned from work, I served him his food and he apologized to me. I accepted. We got to the room and I was waiting for him to touch me, but he didn't, so I made the first move. I started touching him and he moved my hands. "Come on, babe. I'm tired from work. I need to rest." "Don't worry. I'll make it up to you tomorrow, I promise." I got angry and slept off. The next morning, he dressed up and went to work. He returned in the evening and gave me a very big surprise. He gave me an envelope and asked me to open it, and to my greatest surprise, it was my ticket to travel to Maldives for our honeymoon. I was so happy and I asked about his own, but he said he had a deadline at the office to finish a presentation and that as soon as he was done, he would join me in 3 days. I became unhappy, but he reassured me, and we went inside to freshen up and I was waiting for him. When he got to the bed, I started touching him. "No, babe. You need to sleep so you can wake early so you don't miss your flight. When I meet you in Maldives, then we can enjoy all of this." I was angry and I started yelling. "What exactly is going on? Why would you be treating me this way like I'm not a woman?" When I turned to look at him, he was already sleeping. 3 days later, I was waiting for Hillary to come meet me. I tried calling him, but his number wasn't connecting. For 2 days, I couldn't reach him. So, I took the next available flight back to Abuja, Nigeria. When I got home, I went straight to the living room and saw my husband on the bed sleeping. I went straight to him and screamed his name, "Hillary!" He jerked from the bed. "What is this? What did I ever do to you?" I started hitting him. He held my hands and apologized again and said he was sick and that was why he couldn't join me. "You were sick and you couldn't call me to say so? You put your phone off so I couldn't reach you." "Oh, I didn't know my phone had been switched off." I was short of words. I couldn't say a thing. I went straight to the closet to put back my dress and I noticed his clothes were no longer there and I asked, "Why are your clothes not in the closet?" He said, "I moved them to the other room. From now henceforth we both have our separate rooms. You will stay here in the master's and I will stay in the other rooms. Besides, the house is too big, we shouldn't leave the rooms vacant." He left. I was confused and fell to the ground. 6 months passed and Hillary has never touched me. It became even worse since we now have our separate rooms. It was on a Sunday evening, and a tall, dark, handsome young man walked into our house. It was Sam, Hillary's brother. He just got back from the States. We welcomed him, had dinner together, laughed, and I left him Hillary and his brother to do some catching up. It was a Monday morning, and my husband had left for work already. I was also getting ready. I put on my dress and tried to zip it up, but my hand couldn't get to the upper back of my dress. I tried and tried, but it became stuck. There was nobody in the house to help me except Sam. He is my brother-in-law. I had no bad thoughts at all about him. I called him and asked him to please come inside. "Please, I need you to help me zip my dress. It's stuck, and I'm late for work already." He held my dress, and as he was trying to zip up, I could feel his hands on my body. "I have done it," he said, and I replied, "Thank you." I think I have met you somewhere before. Though I wasn't around during your wedding, I'm sure I've met you somewhere before, he said to me, and I replied, maybe Hillary sent you my pictures, I guess. Okay, I need to go so you don't get late for work. And he left. A few minutes later, I was off to work. That evening, I got back home from work, and as I got inside the house, I saw Sam lying shirtless on the couch in the sitting room. I paused for a while. He has the most hot and sexy body I've ever seen. Couldn't take my eyes off his body. I stood for some minutes staring at him. I was getting lost in my thoughts as I was about to leave. He stood up. Hey, you're back. How was work today? He asked. Work was fine, thank you. Have you had anything to eat? I asked. No. Not yet, I was waiting for you. He spoke. Okay. I'll make something now so you can eat. I'll go upstairs and change. When I came downstairs, I headed straight to the kitchen. Sam came in and offered to help me. He was still shirtless, and that made me so uncomfortable in the kitchen. I had to ask him to please go wear a shirt. It wasn't as if the house was hot. Sorry, I just feel a bit hot. I'll get my shirt. He left. He later came back to assist me. We just laughed, made dinner, and ate together with my husband as he came in a few minutes before we were done cooking. It was on a weekend, and Hillary has left for work very early in the morning. I was in my room working on a project, and I heard a knock on the door. It was Sam. Please come in. Hi. I just wanted to check on you. I'm seeing a very interesting movie downstairs, and I thought to ask if you would love us to watch it together. I mean, it's weekend. He spoke. I replied, I'm sorry, Sam. I would have loved to, but I'm very busy with a project here. Okay. When you're done, you can join me. He left. A few hours later, I was done. So, I went downstairs to get water, and I saw Sam wearing just his boxers in the sitting room. I was confused. Then he turned to me. You're done. Come join me at least so I can get to know you. I agreed. Okay, let me get some water and join you. I spoke calmly. When I arrived, he put on his shirt, and we sat to watch the movie together. I slept off while watching the movie. Sam noticed I'd slept off, walked to me, and carried me to my room. As he was about to lay me on the bed, I woke up. I'm sorry. You slept off, so I brought you here so you can be comfortable, he said. It's fine. You can leave. Then he left. I couldn't sleep again. I kept thinking about him and his hot body and how he carried me so gently to my room. It was 8 p.m. and Hillary wasn't back from work. I called his number several times but switched off. So I went downstairs to ask his brother. My brother called and said he won't be coming back home today from the office because he has something important to finish at the office. He said he tried calling you, but your number was off. I'll be off to my room now. Good night, he said. I decided to sit in the living room to wait if he might still come back. 3 hours later, he still wasn't back. As I stood up to go to my room, behold, Sam was standing behind me. I gripped in fear. Jez, you scare me. Sorry about that, he said. As I was about to leave, he grabbed my hand, pulled me closer to him, and whispered in my ear. I told you we have met before. I was the guy who almost got you hit with a Benz close to a supermarket some time ago. Well, your husband is not coming home tonight. You should go to bed now, or we can see a movie together if you're not sleepy. I was out of breath. He then moved gently to the couch and sat me down, turning on the TV as a piece of soft music started to play. He started moving closer to me and asked if I was okay. I said yes. He then moved his hand gently and placed it around my shoulder. And before I knew it, he started rubbing my thighs. I could feel his touch electrifying my body. They were so sensational. I couldn't stop him because I had never felt that way before. A few moments later, he pulled me closer, started kissing me, and took me to his room. The next morning, I found myself on his bed. I jerked up and ran to my room. It wasn't long before my husband came in from work. I went straight to the kitchen to make him breakfast. Sam came to the kitchen to help me. He grabbed me by the waist. I pushed him and warned him never to tell anyone, and that what happened between us was a mistake and should never repeat itself. The food was ready. We were all sitting and eating at the dining table. Sam would not stop staring at me. I became very uncomfortable since my husband was with us. My husband asked if I was okay. I said yes. The next day, when I returned from work, I headed straight to the kitchen to make dinner. Sam came in and grabbed my waist. I pushed him, but he refused to let go of me. He grabbed me and sat me on the table. I could tell you liked it because you couldn't stop screaming. I enjoyed it, and I know you did too. Nobody is going to know unless you refuse me to eat. Then you left me with no option but to tell your husband. I became scared and worried. He started romancing me again, and I couldn't resist him. We kissed, and as we were about to make love, we heard a car horn. That must be my husband, I said. I pushed him, and he ran to his room. I adjusted my dress and continued with what I was doing. After I was done cooking, we ate dinner together, and later that night, I went back to Sam's room to finish what we started. After which I went back to my room. That same night, my husband came to my room and finally wanted to make love to me. He started touching me. I wasn't feeling him, and I didn't want to push him away so he wouldn't suspect anything. I'm sorry for everything I've done. For pushing you away for 2 years now. I'm so sorry. I asked him why, and he said, the reason is that I'm still a virgin. I don't know how to do it. I'm so sorry, he said. When he pulled his pants, behold his manhood like that of a 2-year-old baby. I screamed and ran out of the room.